Who taunts Luke Skywalker by saying, quote, "You cannot hide forever, Luke"? All right. Answer in the comments section below, and we're just going to randomly choose somebody to give away a $25 gift card. Welcome to another episode of The Brothers Watch. I am your host, Joe Altamere, joined by Dennis Kaufman from Stage Left Concepts and my friend Ben, who's always here. All right, so we are going to jump into a special episode today where we talk all things Star Wars. We're actually going to do some Star Wars trivia, but these degenerates actually just want to try to stump me, which I think they're going to do a good job because we have Star Wars Trivial Pursuit here, and some of these questions are ridiculous. I think I know Star Wars pretty well. I'm not the sweatiest of nerds, but I'm pretty sweaty, and I'm gonna say that we're going 6 questions.
Yeah, we'll go 6 questions, 3 and 3.
I think I'm gonna get at least four right.
I think
he's a little...
Yeah, I think you're a little ambitious there.
Yes.
I'm a little scared because some of these are seriously crazy.
I think our goal is to make you miss at least 5. If you get 1, that'll be good for you.
What? Okay, if I miss 5, I have to take a shot.
Sure.
All right. And then after we do our movie trivia, we're going to go ahead and jump into some Star Wars concepts that we were talking about before. We pretty much talk about this all the time. But we want to talk about what went wrong with the current state of Star Wars. And we're going to also talk about how we would fix it and some cool pitches that we were thinking about off camera earlier that we said, no, we got to save this and go ahead and put it on the pod. So we're going to pitch to Lucasfilm what we think is best. But first... Go ahead. Let's try to stump me. You guys can
go
alternate.
first, Dennis, and we'll rotate.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to look really bad on camera.
Maybe I'll start with my easiest one.
All right, good.
Okay. What color lightsaber blade does Obi-Wan Kenobi wield in his first battle?
His first battle? Interesting. I'm going to say blue. Yeah, I think it's blue.
You are correct.
Okay, let's go.
You gave him an easy one to start.
Yeah,
I did.
I thought for some reason this was going to be like, oh no, how far into the lore are we going? I think it's movies.
Well, the first battle part is what got me. Yeah.
Okay, good.
You made it so easy that he second guessed himself.
Well, now he's screwed for the rest of them.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I picked a pretty easy one to start off with.
Okay.
And then they're going to get progressively.
All right, so that's one for
more
the good
difficult.
guys. One for the good guys.
Who is the first character to speak in A New Hope? The very first character.
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm trying to think if it starts with the Empire or the Rebels. I think... Is it Tarkin?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Who is
1 for 2. It was C-3PO.
Oh,
It
no.
was.
Oh, that's so bad of me. I should have got that. So it starts with the Star Destroyer attacking the Rebels convoy.
Yes, and it's R2-D2 and
they're bumping around in the
C-3PO.
hallway.
Yep.
Oh, that was a layup that I should have got. Now I really might be screwed.
Let's see yours.
I don't know. I might go to a little harder one then.
Oh, no.
Which character does Obi-Wan... Sorry, let me start again. Which character does Qui-Gon Jinn describe as someone who gives without any thought of reward? He's going to feel really bad if he doesn't get this one.
It's Anakin Skywalker.
You suck.
Let's go. I know the exact scene. That's great. That's when they're on Tatooine and he's talking to his mother. Let's go. Okay.
Yes.
All right. 2 and 1. 2 for 1.
All right. So then my goal is for you to go 0 and 3 on mine.
2 for 3.
All right. Who slices off Zam Wessel's blaster hand?
Who slices off Zam
Wessel's blaster hand.
And you have no idea this answer either, do you? It's only on the back of the card.
I'm going to admit to you, I have no idea who Zam Wessel is.
So you
Not a
can't
clue.
tell me what movie this is even from. Okay. Who slices it off? I think it's Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi.
Incorrect.
No! Yeah, I was guessing about who that was. Who is it?
Kylo Ren.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was no way I was getting that.
Yeah.
No.
All right. 0 for 2 on mine.
Dang. All right.
Oh.
2 and 2.
I could see this one going either way, but I was wrong about this one, and I thought I was pretty confident I was right.
Okay. All right.
So, how many movies mention the Death Star in the opening crawl? Yeah.
Yo, you're asking me to figure out. All right. I don't know if A New Hope does. I know Empire has to. I know Return of the Jedi has to. I think A New Hope actually just talks about it being a weapon of some sorts or a space station. So I'm gonna say 2. I think 2 is the answer.
I don't want to give him one, but you contradicted yourself in your 2 answers.
Did I? I don't think that A New Hope talks about it, but I think that Return of the Jedi and Empire does. So I think
Empire and Return definitely do.
Okay.
But you are correct. Your answer is wrong.
Oh no.
But you are correct in that the opening crawl of A New Hope mentions a new weapon.
Okay. And it calls it the Death Star.
If I remember correctly, I do remember it having Death Star in the crawl.
So the answer's 3?
The answer is 3.
Oh my gosh. All right.
And that's what stumped me, but I said 2, and I said A New Hope and Empire. Yeah.
All right. So what does that put me at? What are we at?
You're 0 for 2 on mine, and
All
you're
right.
2 for 3 on his.
2 for 3 on me.
Okay. All right. So what do we need to finish with here? What do we need to finish with so I don't do a shot?
Well, so far you're 2 for 5.
Okay. Outstanding.
So you're batting 40%.
Okay. Terrific.
I will be thoroughly impressed if you get this question.
All right. So if I get it right, you take a shot.
I'll take a shot with you. How about that?
What if I get it right, I have to take a shot?
Well, you'd be 3 for 5. So 60%, I guess, technically by his standards is passing, but.
All right. Come on.
All right. Which protocol droid in The Phantom Menace speaks with a female voice?
Okay. That is insane, Ben. I think we should fight in the street after this.
I think you should do shots first.
Pull out your lightsaber.
Phantom Menace, protocol droid. No hints, right? Do you know Did you know this answer? Or do you know this person?
That's not saying
Okay.
much.
Do you know the person? Like, do you know the droid?
I do not. If I saw a picture, maybe, but like by name, no.
Okay. Does it have numbers in it?
It does.
Actually, sadly, I think I actually know this one.
Do you really? In the Phantom Menace?
Yep.
I'm trying to
Which
think
protocol droid uses a female voice or speaks with a female voice?
C-3PO.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You, sir, are the weakest link. It is TC-14.
So the only reason I guess C-3PO is because when he turns him on, at one point there's like a little mishap with it, and I thought it was going to be a higher pitch, and so I thought that
That's just puberty.
that was going to count.
You thought.
Dang it. All right, I'm not doing great.
Droid puberty.
I'm not doing great.
I want to see if I can keep going now. You're 0 for 3 on my questions. Like, how far can I go?
Oh, yeah, that was it. That was all the questions y'all had.
Yeah, that was 6. So you went 2 for 6.
Damn, that's
pretty good.
That's really bad. That's really bad. All right, let's pull out all the stops right here. Okay, so I have to take a shot.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm going to take one because that was a bad performance. But give me one more question that is not completely impossible, but that you don't think I'm going to get. Is that acceptable?
Let me sit up in my chair.
Is that acceptable? I don't like it because I feel like it's going to be impossible. All right, we're wagering a shot on it, right, Ben?
If I get to go through these cards for a second, then yeah, I'm sure I can pick one that I know you'll get wrong.
I'm going to grab a shot right now to pay my debt. It's a school night, man.
It is a school night.
You're not going to pour it into the microphone?
That would have been a great idea. Cheers.
Read the one here in yellow, not out loud, but tell me if you think you'd get that.
The yellow one?
Yeah.
It tastes so good.
I know the answer. I honestly don't.
It tasted great. It tasted really good.
Tell that to your bloodshot eyes.
Yeah.
It's either yellow or blue. Blue's the top one.
I'm ready. I'm feeling
Ooh.
confident. No, I'm not. After Dennis's face, I'm not feeling confident.
See, I felt the opposite. I thought yellow would be harder.
I'm just weird, and I know the answer to that one.
Okay.
All right, give it to me.
All right. So I technically need you to miss 2 more questions to get to my goal of 0 for 5. So I'm going to ask the one that I think you'll be able to guess a little bit better. How many tusks grace the face of a typical Gamorrean guard?
That's a good question. Because at first my thought is 2 tusks, but there could be 4 because they could be gnarly coming down also. I think it's 2, but I feel like 2 is such an easy answer that it's got to be 4. And I don't like that I'm second guessing myself.
I thought this was the easy question, and the next one is hard, but...
All right, 2.
Incorrect. Thank you for second guessing
Tricked
yourself.
me.
Yeah, I did.
Tricked
It was
me.
4.
It was 4.
It was
fool!
I don't even know Star Wars. Why do I have this shirt?
All right.
You're a good faker.
If you get this question wrong, you have to burn the shirt.
No.
No.
You said this is the harder one.
I thought it was, but Dennis said he knows the answer.
All right, let's see. And let's see.
Who is treated for injuries aboard the Nebulon B medical frigate?
So, I think that this is the ship at the end of Empire Strikes Back after Luke lost his hand to Darth Vader. So I'm going to say Luke Skywalker with his hand.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Damn it. You finally got one correct.
There you go.
It threw me off when I was reading it because it says the Nebulon B.
It's very specific.
Like, I immediately start to think of the prequels and the ship that Anakin pilots off of Naboo.
Oh, okay.
That's where my mind went.
Yeah, goodness. Thank God you gave me a good one. I'm going to get flamed in the comments for that. Like, that
Yeah,
was
well,
brutal.
you saved yourself. You got one right.
All right, well, let's jump into the rest of the show.
That was fun.
All right, so a huge thing right now in the Star Wars community is how bad things have been. Like, things at the very best have been mid. Everything they've put out recently, I feel like, has been bad. Now, if you have liked the shows, if you've liked the movies they put out, like, more power to you. Happy that you enjoyed it. But I think overwhelming population has not enjoyed it as much, right? So I guess my biggest thing is, where do you think everything went wrong, and why do you think it went wrong? Like, what part of the downfall, or what was the first domino to fall, rather? Because I know mine.
I mean, the answer is pretty easy of where the downfall began. Everybody, I think, would agree.
Are you going with a singular person, or are you going with a movie?
No, I'm going to just... It's more vague than that. Just the last trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go with the singular person, Kathleen Kennedy would be
my
choice.
Spot on.
I would agree.
Unfortunately, not having a plan for the trilogy, having multiple directors that somehow were not in sync with the direction they want to go is going to be pretty killer.
Yeah, 100%.
To any movie franchise.
100%. That's what I think too. I actually liked The Force Awakens for what it was when it came out. Like, maybe it was a little paper thin, maybe it was a little copy and paste from A New Hope to some degree, but it kind of, to me, acted like a bridge for the newer generation to start watching. So I was okay with that to some degree, but I was hoping that we were going to get, it was going to be a diving board for the rest of the trilogy and hopefully what Disney was going to do going forward. Mm-hmm. So I was really bummed with The Last Jedi. To me, The Last Jedi was the biggest letdown. Yeah.
I think the majority of the fan base feels that way. Yeah. But it's really funny to see that there is a small portion that absolutely loves that movie. I don't understand it.
It's weird. I think it's good. People can enjoy it, I guess. But to me, it shows how bad of a place Star Wars is in when the fan base is so divided like that you have the fans arguing with the actors and the fans arguing with each other, and it gets really bad. Like, I know there was a little bit of that with the prequels, but at least there was continuity with the prequels to the original trilogy, right? What do you think, Dennis? Where do you think it kind of fell off?
It's definitely right in line with what you guys are already saying. I think the biggest point, in my opinion, which I actually just saw an interview recently with George Lucas himself, and he actually made a good point, was, well, he said it kind of sideways. He didn't want to really come out and say it, but when Disney took all of his future ideas and scrapped them. Yeah,
I thought that's crazy. He had a whole storyboard for it all, and they decided not to do it. Now, if you're Disney and you decide not to do it, that's fine. You bought the IP, but it does seem like they bought the IP that everybody loved, and then trashed the IP, and not for like, I don't even think it was them necessarily trying. if you have one of the most popular, if not the most popular at the time IP, and you go and buy it, you should want to do justice to what you're putting out there, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was crazy that they took those beloved characters and kind of trashed them. Like that is the biggest rub, I think. Like it's one thing to not have a story. You don't even have storyboards for or an outline for what you want the trilogy to mean. You have different people putting their hands in the pot. There's not really a whole lot of continuity at all. And you can see that with all the plot holes in the different movies, all three of them. But then on top of that, you take everybody's favorite character, everybody who went to go see The Force Awakens was pumped to go see these people, right? And then they just throw him off a cliff.
Luke.
Yeah, they quite literally
he threw him off a cliff. I mean, it's like
he takes his lightsaber and throws it off a cliff, right?
I understand the meaning of throwing it, but you have a calling.
Yeah.
And you're Luke Skywalker. You don't just, forget you guys. You guys will figure it out.
Yeah, not to mention it's like the biggest cliffhanger at first. Like you get up there, Rey goes up there at the end of The Force Awakens and he's going to hand over this lightsaber. He takes it. Done. End of the movie.
There was a hand with this. Did you bring the hand?
And then at the very end or the very beginning of the movie, he just tosses it in The Last Jedi. And we never understand where Maz Kanata gets this lightsaber. It's never explained.
That would have been a huge story to add in there.
So much could have gone into that. And maybe, they do this thing now where they write it into like a coffee table book and they explain some roundabout way, or they put it into a Marvel comic and they expect you to just like be at the edge of your seat ready to buy that comic so you can find out. But there's just a huge swing and a miss. And unfortunately, I think we could do a whole podcast about what went wrong and just dog walk this the entire time. But I'm more interested in what we can do now to revive it. What could they do now? Not saying they're going to. The properties that they came out with, that's already out. So how would you go about fixing it? What would you do now to pivot and move on from there? If you got ideas, go ahead. Let's hear it.
I would completely shelve it for 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
No new TV series, no new movie. I know that there's already a lot of information out there about the possible new Rey trilogy that's going to come out in future years. But you've overdone it after the reception of the last trilogy and all of the TV series that you've come up with. I mean, you have a ton of IP to use. I think, I would hate to say it, but fans feel like they're probably just getting tired of it.
Yeah.
There's probably a little bit of a disconnect with the brand now, and you've overdone it. I think Bob Iger recently said that they were going to stop quantity over quality and go back to quality over quantity and really just focus on making good product.
It's almost like that idea is as old as time. So the quality is what matters the most, but
you would think, but
okay. So you want to press pause for a little bit. That's a good idea. I've heard that before. Dennis, would you think that's a good idea, or would you put something new out right now?
Actually, I think pausing is a good idea. But if I did have to consider what's been put out, there's like the Obi-Wan series that just came out a few years ago was really good, but there was, again, those not loopholes but plot twists that they just we don't need to touch on that.
Yeah.
That everybody was just like, touch on that. That's exciting. That's interesting. We want to know. And
I felt like it was just dangling keys and then didn't actually go anywhere.
And then people on their own, I forget, the name escapes me, but there's the Peterson or something version of it, and it's like an hour or 2 hours long, and it's the entire Obi-Wan series.
Originally that movie or that show was supposed to be a movie, and he was actually supposed to run good cop, bad cop with Commander Cody, who tried to shoot him, and it was supposed to be almost like an apology from Cody. He kind of defected. Okay. And then they were supposed to go on some journey. I don't remember all the details, but it sounded exponentially better than what we got. Right. We got pretty much a show that wasn't even about Kenobi. He was in the background, right?
Right.
You've got all the coolest toys, right? You got Obi-Wan and Vader, and it's their background pieces, it feels like.
Like you have the number 1, number 2 characters other than Luke Skywalker that everybody knows, but you have Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. It's kind of where it all started.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What scene from that show sticks out to you the most? Like, what do you think of first when you think of that show?
Oh, you already know my answer.
We're probably going to have the same answer, but Dennis, go ahead.
I'm wondering if my answer is the same.
it's not a positive.
No, it's not.
The fight scene with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So that's good. You have a good memory of it. You have a good
Yeah,
memory
ours
of
is
it.
different.
My memory is Princess
Leia
Leia as
running
a
through the
child,
forest.
running through a forest from like 3 grown men in twigs, like these fake plants. That she's able to avoid them, and they're getting caught in this, and it's not even remotely believable. They're getting caught, and they're just growling into the branches.
They're actually growling. I remember this.
Bro, it was crazy. It was.
I can't bend over and pick this little girl up.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And so I guess to give you my answer, if I had the IP, I wouldn't have the restraint to not make something, I guess. Yeah. I just think that with a property like Star Wars, where people want it to be good so badly, all you have to do is find that one thing. Just give the fans what they want. Get a creative team that is more interested in the original IP. You don't have to have the original characters necessarily, but someone that wants to go back to that lore, that feeling that Star Wars had, and then go from there. I think there's so many different ideas you could go
the worst part of it is they had all the right tools. They had J.J. Abrams at their fingertips. J.J. Abrams, everything he touches is good.
They just had him and then Rian Johnson, and there was no continuity.
Right.
There was no continuity. So some people love J.J. Abrams. Some people aren't the biggest fan of J.J. Abrams probably mainly because of those Star Wars movies, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't really like what he did with Star Wars because it seemed like he was doing exactly what the studio wanted, which I don't know how you can not, unfortunately. Look at how many directors they go through all the time. They just
how many
everybody.
writers they've already gone through for the new stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know how you take something so important and just don't have. See, I told you it's easy to just keep going on the negative, right? So I'm not gonna keep going into that, but it's just missing that feeling. It's missing the look. They showed you Luke in the original, and then in Empire, you found out that Luke's father is actually Darth Vader.
Which they didn't even know on set.
I mean, crazy. That's the level, though, that he was willing to go to keep the secrecy. And they don't even have the level to show you where Maz Kanata got this lightsaber. So really what I would do is I would put out something that is, it's hard to say small scale when you're dealing with Space Odyssey, but
that's true.
Do something small-ish. You don't have to have like 40 villains, right? Have one main villain for this thing. Give yourself a good main character or two, and just go from there. Bring back that old nostalgic feeling.
You need that connection, that old nostalgia,
and it's a win.
Yeah,
look what Mando was.
Yeah,
Mando season 1 was low. It was like a low scale type of deal, and it blew up. It was just space cowboys.
I'm a little concerned for the movie.
Oh yeah, I'm very concerned. But I want to love again. I want to love it again, man.
I think everybody was hopeful with that, with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And with the possibility of Thrawn. And
I think it was better than most of the things they put out recently. Yeah, I didn't dislike Ahsoka, but there are parts of it that are just messy, and you can see that they're kind of throwing darts and seeing what sticks. So I'm optimistic with the next season. Reportedly, we're going to get Padme, Anakin, Obi-Wan all in this show. So, of course, I'll be watching. We'll see.
Right.
But so for what would you, if you had to pitch an idea, what would your pitch be? I guess that's like the crux of this whole thing. Like, what would you pitch Lucasfilm right now to get a W?
It's funny. One of your pitches that you have on the board is actually mine.
Okay, I like it. I have a couple pitches written that I would really want to see.
I told you earlier, to me, it's not controversial, but I know it would be controversial for a lot of the fan base. So for us, our childhood was obviously the prequels.
Yep.
They, at the time, were not the best received.
Yeah, and that you had a bunch of OG fans, and they wanted it a certain way, so...
Yeah, but for me, that was one of the first major franchises I remember seeing in theaters.
Same.
And one of the things that I love about the movie is pod racing, and I know for adults at the time, they actually hated it. It was actually one of the most disliked things about
pod racing? Dude, as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
That was my first video game, actually.
I know, Phantom Menace, it was great. So I don't know if it would do well as a movie now, but I think even as a TV series, it would be great to bring it back.
Okay, yeah.
Star Wars meets Fast and the Furious meets F1.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Depends on like what kind of direction you want to go with. I hope they wouldn't make it like too kiddie. I'd love for it to be like a little bit darker. And they've alluded to it over time. And Mando specifically. Do you remember the N1 Starfighter?
Yeah.
Okay, when he starts flying it, he's flying as Beggar's Canyon.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
It's sick. Yeah, of course. That's why people love Mando so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it originally, but I watched the clip back recently. There's a part where he's going through the canyon, and there's a callback to Phantom Menace where Anakin went up the ramp and he broke the fence.
Yeah.
It's in that episode, and they still have never fixed the fence.
Love that.
Oh, that's great.
Love that.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't see that the first
Very
time.
little care is going into the cosmetics behind Tatooine and their roads.
Yeah.
Leave it to those guys.
I love that idea. I had one of those written down, like have a main character who's like trying to earn money for his family on Tatooine. You could, anything just in that world is gonna go crazy. Like look at how Andor did. People like Andor. I didn't watch Andor, to be honest with you, because I heard bad reviews and then I stopped watching, or I stopped paying attention. And I didn't want to watch another bad Star Wars thing. But then I kept hearing how good it was. And I went over to Jeff's, who's not here today because he hurt his knee. And he's watching Andor for the first time.
Yeah.
And
That's why he skipped out. He wanted to.
he just wants to binge Andor.
I only watched the first 3 episodes of Andor, and I've heard it gets a lot better, but those first 3 episodes are so slow.
Yeah. They just need wins, so they need a little faster pace to start it off, you know?
Yeah.
But I love that idea of a pod race. I had written down that I would want like a guy trying to earn money. He's dealing with maybe gangs like the Hutts or people involved with the Hutts there. And it's kind of like a mafia vibe. You're trying to like stay clean. You're trying to deal with all these people who are doing seedy things on Tatooine. I think that would be really cool in that universe.
My only questions with it, because at the time, Anakin is like the only human that can pod race as like a
That's
Force
true.
user.
That's true.
So how does that change, or how does that look like in that show? Like, do you have somebody else like Anakin?
Like Force sensitive or something? Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea. You could do that maybe, or maybe that would ruffle some feathers. So you could do maybe you could pick like an alien that's not so alien looking,
Okay.
This way he's a little bit relatable, or he or she is a little relatable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe it's a human that was inspired by watching Anakin do it, and he's really struggling because he doesn't have that ability like Anakin. That would be kind of cool.
I would love for that to happen. Like the main character, though, to go up against Sebulba.
Yeah, Sebulba!
Yeah. And like Anakin, now that he's won, Sebulba is like devastated. But what does that show look like with him moving forward? Like he's like the main villain again.
Yeah, no, I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah.
And Sebulba's all mad. He's out for revenge to never lose again.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. Did you have a plot or anything, or a pitch?
Not anything even close to that. That's.
This is what it's all about. It's
You
riffing.
can keep going, and I'm listening, and it's like I'm watching it already.
All I'm saying is it seems like this amount of care isn't even put into some of this stuff.
No.
I don't know. At least maybe from people that haven't originally cared about Star Wars like this before. I don't know. I didn't even know Biggs was the one that died, though, so people might be dogging on me for that. But
yeah, but
I knew
that's an easy fix, though. Like, I mean, I feel like you could put me in charge of Lucasfilm right now, and just because I might have limited knowledge compared to most of the fan base, I don't think it's that hard to put the right people in place to make the content for you. I think when you start going wrong, though, is when there are rumors of you hiring writers that have never seen Star Wars before.
Yeah. Or they're encouraging that, right?
Yeah.
Stay away from that.
I think a lot of it has to do with the respect too. I don't know if the writers have the respect for Star Wars. Like the love and the respect kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if they say, "Oh, I have the connection," really, because this sucked.
Yeah, no, and that's where Filoni is that whole situation is such a conundrum to me, because I feel like he really does care. I don't know how much he's been held back, but you can see in Ahsoka that he's had a little bit more range, and he's putting a lot of really cool stuff in there. Yeah. I think that you're going to see a lot of cool stuff in Ahsoka season 2 because of him. You know what I mean? But outside of him, there hasn't been that much care. You're
right. Yeah. They
right.
just need to let him go.
Yeah.
Just let him go, because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
They just got to stop holding him
Give
back.
him all of the options and go. It would
Yep.
be cool. It might get extra nerdy to save it, right? I think they're going to do some really sweaty, nerdy stuff.
I'm sorry, but that's the kind of stuff that drew me in.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's going to bring it back.
Yes.
Even if it seems weird at first, I do think that will bring that feeling back and at least open those doors going forward.
Right.
I also I would love to see Boba Fett get some redemption because that show was so rough to me. It was so bad.
Yes. Unfortunately,
God,
because that character is just amazing.
The spin into getting shot at is always going to like be in my mind. That was so
by the
awful.
biker gang,
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude! Why is the biker gang so rough like that? It was so brutal.
It's like Hell's Angels of Star Wars.
Oh, it was brutal. I think you need a, I'm going to say smaller scale, but it's not going to be smaller scale with this pitch, okay? But I think you got to have him, it's got to be post Book of Boba, and it needs to be redemption. Because you can't delete what they already did with it, right? So now you have to go and you have to make it high stakes for him. So have, I don't know, Fennec get kidnapped or something. Maybe Cad Bane survives that shot. Yeah. And then he kidnaps her and he now wants to make Boba's life miserable. Maybe he cuts off supply of some resource to Tatooine, water, something like that, I don't know. And then he's got to go to Coruscant and find Cad Bane. And Cad Bane has now gotten a ton of assassins and they're all trying to now kill Boba. But make him badass again. You don't have to have him be like this nerfed dude anymore.
You have to give him a reason to come back, though. Like, the way that series ends, it's like they walk him out to the pasture.
I know.
He's going straight to retirement.
From episode 1. Episode 1, they were walking him out to the pasture slowly.
Is that a shotgun? What are you carrying?
It was brutal. So I would love to see anything like that. I think if you let him kind of get that alpha mentality back again, I think people would be loving that show immediately. Have you guys seen Star Wars Visions? Have you seen any of Star Wars Visions?
No.
They have one episode of that show. So in Star Wars Visions, there's not continuity in between the episodes. They're like 20-second or 20-minute episodes where they don't align. So
mini-series?
Yeah, it's a mini-series. So see, episode 1 doesn't have anything to do with episode 2.
Okay.
All right. Same, and so you just get a bunch of little stories. The first episode, is about a samurai-looking Jedi. It's in black and white. And he's like walking around this town, and all of a sudden this town just gets attacked by marauders, pretty much. And one of them is seemingly a Sith woman, and she has this crazy lightsaber device that also shoots laser. It's wild.
Okay.
But this dude unsheaths a sword, and it's a like red lightsaber.
Yeah.
And apparently he's been going around killing Sith, and then he just goes and fights her, and spoiler, beats her.
That's
or
pretty cool.
whatever. Dude, give me an anime about that. Or you could do live action if you want, but just give me anything on that. If you go home and watch that tonight, I guarantee you'll like it. I honestly don't know anybody who didn't like that episode. But why do they give us this little thing and then don't do anything else with it? To me, you got to do
20-minute teaser.
Yeah, you got to give me more of that. I think they did like a comic book. My dog's going crazy in the background. It's going to come over on the mic. But they give you this little thing and then they never revisit it. I think they did a little comic, but other than that, that's it.
There's one pitch that you didn't have on your board that I thought you would talk about.
All right, let's hear it.
They've been rumored for a while to either make a video game from it or eventually make a movie about it. Would be Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah.
I would love it, but like, see, I'm going against myself because my first thought is I don't want them to touch that right now because they're going to ruin it.
Scared.
They're going to ruin it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's what they should do. I mean, they should make something lore accurate to Knights of the Old Republic and people would eat that up. It would be awesome. Just don't ruin the lore. Just like pay attention to what they do and just stay on track with that. It's already written for you.
It's literally already written.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be awesome. It really would. So, yeah, I think anything like that would be really good.
What do you think would ease the fan base back into Star Wars? Like, what would be something that they could make as a TV series or just as a one spin-off movie that might bring back a little bit of favor to the fan base before they do something big?
Honestly, if you had this Mando and Grogu movie and you made it like Mando versus a pocket of the Empire,
Yeah.
and it's not like
Like just the TV series just doing.
Yeah, but don't make it
side
like
quests.
season 3. Don't make it like season 3. Make it like season 2 or season 1. You could throw a little Mando or Mandalorian lore in there. But yeah, just give us like a little bit of that space cowboy.
Yeah.
And throw an ATST and AT-AT in there or ATRT. Give us some of that original trilogy magic. And it doesn't have to be crazy convoluted.
No.
It really doesn't. Even if you put Cad Bane in that movie, like he just fought Boba and Mando.
Yeah.
You could give me anything like that and I'd be very happy. What about you?
Yeah, I don't think it would take much. I would just go with my original idea of pod racing just because that would never, ever be a big movie. I think they would have to make it a TV series, and I would love it, even though I know some people would hate it.
No, I still think it would put people back in good graces or get them in the good graces with people, I think. I loved what I thought they were going to do with Finn in the sequel trilogy, to be honest with you. A defecting stormtrooper.
Yeah.
What a perfect story to just carry on.
Just,
Like literally.
I mean, he decides that he doesn't want to kill and he doesn't want to do these evil deeds, right?
And he's been programmed to do whatever they tell him to do. And he's just like, nah.
You could make it grunge war. It doesn't have to be rated R because you want that still, you want that Star Wars feel to it.
Well, it's like it's made for kids.
Yeah. And that's honestly why we like it still,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But like, give us that and show us an actual story of him going through that difficulty transitioning over, people not trusting him, stuff like that. No, we got him completely nerfed after he gets sliced in the back by Kylo Ren.
And we don't even know any kind of real backstory about Finn. We don't know. We just know that he's been taken from his family when he was really young, and that he's been basically brainwashed to be a stormtrooper.
And look, I know we have a ton of lore from the Clone Wars animated series, but talk to any Star Wars fan, and they will tell you they want more Clone Wars. They want a live action Clone Wars. Like you don't even have to bring that many Jedi into it if you don't feel like it. Give me like wars. Give me parts of them fighting battles. Like anything from even the video game, the original video games. Give me anything like that, and people are gonna eat it up.
Yeah, there was like nothing for the Clone Wars in any of the movies that they put out.
Yeah,
it was just like these Clone Wars happened, and we're moving on. Oh, but they were a big deal.
It's almost like it's been an obligation to put out things.
Yeah.
And they haven't really felt like putting in the effort for it because Lucasfilm, you're welcome.
Yeah,
we just gave you like so many good ideas right there, and they're not even fully thought out.
Right.
I mean, just go ahead, take it. We'll take a small percentage, very small percentage.
And very small percentage. 1%, so big.
And then just make it work. Give us some of that. I mean, that's my thought.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that convoluted. I really don't.
I have one big pitch to Disney.
All right, let's hear it.
Just sell it back to George Lucas. He can afford it. I mean, he's talked about it.
Oh man, they would never do that though.
No, they never
crush their ego.
Yes.
Even at this point, that IP is still worth more than when they bought it.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Like by a significant margin. So yeah, I don't know. I think at this point we have to just hope that good leadership comes in soon and they do something like this. They go back to Knights of the Old Republic, something with Clone Wars, anything like that. Even if you push it hundreds of years in the future, just give us something like, right now I hear Rey is going to start a Jedi Order in this new trilogy coming up. But if you put this hundreds of years in the future and someone's doing that, like, yeah, I'm in the seat with the merchandise. I'm wearing it and I've got a bucket of popcorn. Am I worried it's going to suck? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But am I going to pray that it doesn't? Absolutely.
I paid the money for it.
You'll get my money.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll buy all the lightsabers. I'll do it.
Yeah. Yes.
They're on the other wall. There are like 5 Star Wars helmets right now, and it's still in a bad spot. So trust me, I'll fill up this wall with them.
There might only be one by the end tonight.
Yeah. We're gonna have to watch how you leave this place.
How heavy was my bag?
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's like a simplistic way of explaining what they need to do. But I mean, I really don't think it needs to be that difficult. I think we're making it a lot harder.
I mean, everybody other than Disney is touching on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Without copyright and getting sued, because Disney could do that and they have every right to because they own all of it. But
yeah,
there's companies out there like, look at stuff that Theories is doing.
Oh yeah, Star Wars Theory is going crazy.
All of his Vader stuff is epic.
And he's putting his own money into it. He's
His
putting like
own money.
over $1 million for this episode that he's putting out, and he's not going to make anything off it.
Right. And he probably wouldn't expect to. He has the passion, he has the love for it, he has the respect for it, and he's doing what everybody
Really just
wants.
to see. Yeah,
And
everybody
it's
wants
what he wants too. So yeah, duh.
I think it's a pretty foolproof way of doing things. Just care about the lore, put out content that is close to that, and people are going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be tuned into what Theory puts out for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then hopefully, I mean, I'm still going to go see this Mando movie and hope that it's great because Favreau and Filoni are attached to it, so I'm still going to have hope.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
about to say, your butt was going to be in the seat no matter what they put out.
Yeah,
if it's something in theaters, you're going to watch.
Exactly. That's the thing. And so if it's already that easy to get someone like me who hasn't liked like the past 6 things they put out,
Yeah.
man, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
No.
It shouldn't be.
And again, like I don't want to say anything bad about people who have liked things like The Acolyte or who have liked things like the Boba Fett show or any Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But it should be easier to like this stuff. It
No.
shouldn't be so controversial,
Right.
To support this.
I think it's fine to put out something that's different. I mean, Star Wars has endless IP possibilities, but you should have put it out when you're in a better place as
Yeah.
a franchise.
Yeah, like Skeleton Crew, mainly a kid's show. It's like Star Wars Goonies, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, the numbers on it didn't do well. But I think that it would have been just fine. It would have been a great thing to put out there if
Yeah.
the franchise was in a decent place.
Yep.
Right.
So we'll see what they do. That's a Star Wars special for you. That's a Star Wars special. We'll be back next week with more general movie topics, but we just wanted to kind of touch on where Star Wars was right now, do a little Star Wars trivia. So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.
Subscribe.
We are gaining subscribers, thankfully, because you guys are awesome. So, I want to do a giveaway too. So we're going to give away a $25 Regal gift card. Okay. So we're going to, let's find a trivia question right here. So all you have to do is like, subscribe, and then go ahead and answer this movie question. All right. Put your answer in the comments section. Here we go. We won't make it too crazy. All right. Oh, this one's easy. All right, you ready? Who taunts Luke Skywalker by saying, quote, "You cannot hide forever, Luke"? All right. Answer in the comments section below, and we're just going to randomly choose somebody to give away a $25 gift card. All right, guys.
There you go.
Have a good one.